Welcome back to the Big Saturday Show. More than 14,000 migrants, most of them Haitian, are gathered under a Texas bridge, waiting to be ushered into the U.S. An overwhelmed Border Patrol has temporarily closed the Del Rio border in an effort to deal with the surge. Bill Melugin is in Del Rio. Bill, what have you seen over the last few days?
It's Iris, good evening to you. What we've seen is a situation that continues to deteriorate, really not by the day, but by the hour. And we want to show you what that looks like. So take a live look at our Fox drone right now, which is overhead of the International Bridge here in Del Rio. Law enforcement sources telling me the number of migrants under that bridge right now pushing closer to 15,000, which is remarkable when you think about the fact that just a few days ago on Wednesday, the numbers were just around 4,000. We're now pushing almost 4 times that in just a matter of days. As you mentioned, law enforcement and Border Patrol down here completely overwhelmed. They do not have the manpower to be processing this many migrants, most of them from Haiti, but we're also starting to see a lot of Africans starting to come over. I'm told they're from Ghana, Senegal, Angola, places like that, and they've been coming across all day long, which is why the size keeps growing. Take a look at this piece of video we shot on the river earlier today. Exclusive video you're not going to see anywhere else. We were able to get out on a boat on the Rio Grande, and we were watching for hours long as migrants were streaming in from Ciudad Acuña on the Mexican side of the border, walking across the Rio Grande using a dam, and then illegally entering the United States. There were hundreds of them crammed on the United States shoreline. Some of them were bathing in the water, changing their clothes before they came in. But this was happening, I kid you not, nonstop, all day long. There was never a break. It was a constant stream of people. It was pretty remarkable to watch. And that is why the situation at the bridge is not getting any better. We want to take you back out live once again to our Fox drone. Speaking of the situation at that bridge, what you see there are hundreds of law enforcement vehicles that have now been pulled up there. What I'm told is Texas DPS is doing a massive surge of state troopers to this location. Hundreds of state troopers showing up here, pulling into that International Bridge area. I'm being told by sources this is just to be proactive for any potential security concerns, because a group that big under that bridge, about 15,000. Just to wrap up, this is having a major impact on the local community. The Del Rio port of entry has been closed for the foreseeable future. Anybody wanting to cross it legally now has to drive 57 miles to the east. And a local congressman here, Tony Gonzalez, is reporting that local grocery stores are starting to run low on food, and some local restaurants have now been asked to close early and make food for the migrants under the bridge. So this is not just an isolated incident under the bridge that's being kept in a bubble. It's spilling over. It's having an impact on this tiny Del Rio community here in Texas as this situation continues to spiral out of control. We'll send it back to you.
Bill, quick question. Did you get a sense for the morale or how much tension is going on between Border Patrols and people in the community? Would you say it's at a red level, or are they handling it well?
It's been at an all-time high for quite some time now. You talk to any Border Patrol agent, they've already been frustrated with the surge that's been going on. You throw this into the mix now, as you said, it's blinking red. Those agents down there, they don't have the manpower to deal with this. Their holding centers out here are completely over capacity. You got maybe 100 or 200 agents down there having to deal with 15,000 people. It's not fair to them. They don't have the infrastructure out here. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon because of what you saw in that river. There are more coming every hour, every day.
Wow. It's just unbelievable what those men and women are going through down there. Tammy, I throw this to you. You've seen this. You've covered this. Walk us through this. Where do you even go to even give someone down there on the border a vote of confidence of how to handle this? Because there's literally no support coming from the administration.
Well,
they're on vacation.
It's anarchy. It's anarchy. Americans are seeing this. The other problem we have, of course, is that with Afghanistan, there's been a boost of inspiration for the cells that we know are throughout America, South Central America, Europe, of al-Qaeda, certainly of Hamas. And so we're looking at such a number of people that it is not just security if the mob gets crazy, but of course if there are terrorists, other cartel dynamics involved there. So there's massive national security implications here as well. These are mostly Haitians and now others from other than Mexico, other than South America coming over. And then we have no idea what's going on during a pandemic. So it's not just, of course, regular terrorism, but the variety of things that could be happening health-wise, like measles, is already now the case here in America because of the Afghan refugees. So it's a very dangerous situation with serious national security implications.
Carly, here's one of the numbers. Let me just throw this at you. There's over 1.5 million what they would describe as border encounters. What do you think that means to the regular guy who's flipping on the channel when you hear border encounters? Is that just a polite way of saying that people are getting away, arresting? I mean, what do you think that even embodies?
Yeah. That number, to me, proves what Bill was saying about how overworked Border Patrol is. And this situation is a humanitarian crisis. These people don't have adequate food or water. The mayor was saying that some women are giving birth under the bridge. And it's so sad because you have to think about how desperate these people are to be putting themselves in that situation to get into this country. But our country, like all countries, has laws. We have borders for a reason. And Tammy is right. The situation in Afghanistan and the situation at the border, they're linked because there will be a rise in terrorism as our border is the weakest it's been in a very long time.
You know, Raymond, when you think of this, I think about a giant dam and like sticking your finger in the crack trying to hold back this massive humanity. When you think of the administration, in particular, our vice president who was in charge of this, how would you rate her performance thus far?
Missing in action, Tyrus. Missing in action. She's at a Howard University game today. She should be down at the border patrolling this thing. Look, I've spent months down there back and forth covering this border, including that Del Rio sector. I was there over the summer. Let me tell you, what happened here is the Remain in Mexico policy fell apart. Biden tore it down. Then he tried to reassemble it. Mexico obviously is not cooperating anymore. They're letting anybody through, including the cartels, now these Haitians from Chile, and God knows who else is coming across the border. We should lock the whole thing down today and stop this because our agents are not only trying to process these 15,000 people under this bridge, there are hundreds still coming on rafts and across the low tide of the Rio Grande as we speak. This is a national and international tragedy, and the Biden administration is largely responsible. They'd better get control of our borders, Tyrus.
Yeah.